Oh wait. Do you remember one of those when when they're in Nathan Lane's house? They're like, "Man, I checked your bandages. I got you all bandaged up, but my God, I got something else I'm a little worried about. Your testicles look mighty distended." Yeah, he has these giant fucking balls.
And did you notice when he was running out the bathroom?
Yeah,
you saw, because when I saw, I was like, Joaquin Phoenix got some big balls, dude.
In a world of bad movies, two follically challenged men will stop at nothing to share their opinions of them. Their wives are tired of listening. But are you? This isn't the podcast you deserve, but it's the one you need. Prepare yourself for bald guys and bad movies.
Welcome to Bald Guys and Bad Movies, episode 63. I am Troy.
Troy, cut it out!
Here with my buddy,
Mike Stella.
Mike Stella. A little short Stella right there.
Yeah, it was a short Stella.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. I'm tired. Kind of tired today, but you know.
I am tired too. Let's pump it up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What's what's some vocal exercises like little lamb licked little Lonnie's lolly.
Yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather.
Yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather,
yeah, exactly.
red leather.
That's why you do it. You do it to keep your tongue nice and energized.
What are we reviewing this week, Mike?
Oh God! This week we are reviewing the horror of Beau Is Scared.
And Afraid.
Oh, sorry. Beau Is Afraid. Sorry.
I thought you were being funny.
No.
I am so sorry for what your daddy passed down to you. But I wanted a child, the greatest gift of my life.
I'm visiting my mother tomorrow.
Are you at the airport?
I'm on my way. It's not safe, is it? What do you think I should do?
I'm sure you'll do the right thing, sweetheart.
What is this?
That's my little assistant health monitor. Feeling sad about going home, Beau? Must feel totally unreal.
I'm supposed to be leaving.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Beau Is Afraid is a 2023 American surrealist, no fucking shit, tragic comedy, horror film written, directed, and co-produced by Ari Aster. Phenomenal filmmaker and writer, I feel. The film stars Joaquin Phoenix as the title character, Beau Wasserman, and also includes a supporting ensemble cast consisting of Patty Lupone. She's amazing, everything.
Who's that? That's the wife.
That's his mom.
Oh, that's his mom. Okay.
Nathan Lane, Amy Ryan, Kylie Rogers, Parker Posey. She's looking kind of hot in this film.
Yeah, I know, man. I don't think I've ever seen her boobs before.
Yeah, you see him in this.
Oh, you see him in this.
And how? Stephen McKinley Henderson, Haley Squires, Michael Gandolfini. What?
Yeah,
James Gandolfini's son?
Yeah, he played one of his sons.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Let's get on with this.
Yeah.
Let's get on with this.
Okay.
Got them all.
What did you think of Beau Is Afraid?
Complete and utter dog shit. One of the worst movies I've seen in a long time. I thought it was an absolute waste of time.
No redeeming qualities?
It was pretty at times. And there were some interesting things that happened here and there, but it was so boring. It was 3 hours long and felt like 10. It was one of the worst movies I've. You remember last week we talked about pretentious bullshit, right?
Yeah,
remember?
yeah.
This was the perfect movie to review. It's a perfect explanation of things I hate, absolutely hate in movies. This is a 100% do not recommend by any way, shape, or form. Complete waste of time. That's how I feel about it.
I will say, you've never seen anything like it, though. It is.
Yeah, unique. Because this is the thing. This is the problem. People with these horrible ideas they make a couple movies, and guess what? They actually have to make movies that people like when they haven't made anything big. And then the moment they make a movie or two that are semi-successful, then they can just splooge all over the screen and put whatever ridiculous bullshit they've had in their head. There is look, fever dream. This was a fever dream, okay? And the film feels like a fever dream. But the problem is, when you're in a dream, you don't have any perception of time. So it's okay. It doesn't matter how long it takes or how much crazy shit is in there. When you have a full perception of time, this fucking utter dog shit is completely wasted. It's complete and dude. Anyways, how do you feel about it, Troy?
Well, I certainly didn't hate it like you hated it. It is way too fucking long.
Absolutely.
Way too fucking long. I don't think you would like a 2-hour version of this. But I would have liked it a lot better if there was a 2-hour version. There's a moment in the middle, and we'll get into it, that just feels, like you said, pretentious bullshit.
Yeah.
The whole story, the journey of the father finding whatever.
What about the praying man dick? Like,
wait. Let's spoilers. That said, the first 30 minutes, I was laughing my ass off. I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
There were some fun. Look, I thought that some of that stuff was funny.
Once he left the city, once he got hit by the car, that's when it began.
It became just like.
But leading up to that, I thought it was it felt like a Coen Brothers comedy, just over the top, outrageous characters.
Yeah, there was interesting stuff there. And like I said, that was some of the few redeeming things about it.
The fucking brown recluse spider warning.
Dude, that shit was funny as hell.
And then it pays off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I recommend? Gosh, I don't think I can. I mean, it's such a niche. I only recommend it I wholeheartedly recommend the first
40 minutes.
First 30 to 40 minutes. The first 30 to 40
minutes.
Once
you get hit
is
by
an
the van,
amazing short film.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. Yeah.
Man, if it had continued that trajectory, that tone,
the naked dude stabbing him when he's naked and the guy thinks
that shit was hilarious, dude.
And there was weird shit happening. They putting the note underneath the fucking door, telling him to turn down the music down, and he's sleeping. Any music. There were these interesting things that I hoped it was going to pay off. It just kept doing more and more ridiculous shit and had nothing. Stuff had a payoff, but it was so far down the road that it was I don't even care. By this point, I just want this movie to be over. It's 3 hours of my life I wish I could get back.
Well, it reminded me the first 30 to 40 minutes.
And $6
There's this wonderful comedy I liked by Martin Scorsese called After Hours. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I haven't seen that, but I've heard about it.
But it's this yuppie guy who never ventures out of his upper class neighborhood, and just on a whim, meets a girl, goes on a blind date, and it's just one hellish encounter after another. He's just trying to get back home.
Right.
And it's got this weird, surreal reality. Every person he meets is a heightened, almost caricature. It reminds me a lot of the first 30 minutes of this film. So if the whole film's like that, I would have a more glowing review. I don't have a glowing review.
The way it opened with him talking with it didn't open that way. It opened with him being born, which I was like, okay, whatever. This is one of those movies where nothing seems to have a point. He probably knows what his point is, and some artsy-fartsy schmuck at USC probably thinks it's the best movie he's ever seen.
And look, you can make a movie that's about life has no point.
Yeah.
But even that movie has a point. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a narrative structure.
Exactly.
That the audience can connect to. And that's why I say the first 30, 40 minutes could have been a short film.
Yeah, it was.
Right?
It was kind of interesting.
And ends
all
with
the
his
crazy
death.
fucking lunatics, and they're
Everything
going
he
in the
feared
fucking
happened all at once,
exactly
right?
at once. Like it was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So again, you definitely don't recommend, and I mean I can't recommend because I've recommended films. You know, to me, recommend means everyone I think would enjoy it, and I didn't enjoy
I don't even.
I just
think
like
that means
some of it in bits and pieces, but it just didn't work as a whole.
I don't even think if a recommend means everyone, you recommend it to everyone. I mean,
Even if you like Ari Aster, his previous films are more horror. And this, there is horror-like elements, but it's treated as comedy.
yeah, but
So
it's,
even those people may not be into this. You know what I mean? Because it's not this straightforward horror. It's more
like
surrealist
yeah,
kind of
that's
comedy.
really what it is. It's a dark surrealist comedy.
And in prepping for this, I read something funny.
Oh god, I want to hear this. I love the anecdotes you come up with about movies when we do these things.
Well, thank Wiki, whoever the fuck.
Well, I know, but at least
Whatever bum fills that Wiki, I'll just
thank
regurgitate.
Troy. Thank you, Troy, for taking a moment to look this stuff up.
Literally a moment, like 2 seconds before we signed on it. The film had been developed by Ari Aster for some time with a 2011 short film called Beau, which that will later serve as the basis for the sequence in the feature film. I wonder if it's that first part.
I don't know. Probably.
Because if it was a short film and that first part was a short film, that could
You understand why? Yeah,
it
why
feels
you would
tight.
make the movie.
It feels like it has a purpose. Asher has described the film in many ways, including initially as a nightmare comedy, a Jewish Lord of the Rings, but Beau's going to his mom's house, and if you pumped a 10-year-old full of Zoloft and had him go get your groceries. The descriptions are much funnier than
the movie itself.
Consistent than the movie. Yeah, let's get into it. I think overall, before we get into bits and pieces, I was trying to figure out what this movie's trying to say.
Yeah.
Dig into what the grade of narrative is. Because basically, Beau is this wreck of a man. I mean, is he like his early 40s? I don't know.
He's a 50-year-old. He's the 50-year-old virgin, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Never had a woman because his mom basically told him that his dad died, and she very descriptive.
Dad died having sex with her the first time. Yeah, and because of some congenital heart defect, some genetic heart defect that all the men in his family have, and if he ever has sex, he's gonna die. Like he's gonna die of a heart attack.
I don't know how you felt about the mother, because the mother dies. He thinks she dies in the beginning.
Dude, the young version of the mom was hot.
The one with the boat.
The one in
that wasn't her. That was
the young version of the mom in the. Like when he's
in the
giving
house.
her the presents, when he's giving her the presents, like at the when they go out to like for her birthdays, when he's young, dude, she was hot.
So, Mike wants to bone his MILF mother. Let's get that out of the way. So yeah, he's this guy. He's a mess. He has phobias. He's afraid of everything, as the title says. He lives in probably the worst imagined part.
He lives in hell. He lives in hell.
Literally on the way home, he has to like sprint to get into his apartment complex door because there's maniacs. And look, I have OCD.
I thought that was funny. I was like, OCD, oh shit, that was pretty funny.
And it felt like an OCD person's nightmare. Which is
absolutely.
I think that's why I laughed so hard, because I hate spiders. I have a fear of blood and homeless people like spewing crap all over you, and like everything's just kind of like meshed. Like his apartment complex is right in the middle, like you said, of hell. Like
it's hell. It's literally hell.
Human filth you could think of. And there's a funny sequence, so there's so much funniness in the first 30 minutes.
See, that's the whole thing. There are these moments of pretty funny stuff. There are some pretty funny things, but the movie as a whole is like so bad. We should steal those sequences and put them in a good movie.
The first 30 or 40 minutes, I'm probably going to rewatch at some point and then stop immediately the psychiatrist prescribes some pills. He's like,
oh, right.
Drink water with
Take
this.
these with water.
Do not drink.
Always.
So Beau takes the pill and realizes that he has no water anywhere.
He doesn't have any. He's out of bottled water, but he goes to turn on the faucet.
Yeah,
and they've turned off the water in the building. The whole building has no water.
So he has no. And I thought for a second he was going to try to drink the toilet water. That's what I thought.
Oh man.
But he spots the convenience store where there's, I don't know, it's a guy with like Daisy Dukes doing the cha-cha.
Yeah, well,
outside
the problem, but you have to. But the whole reason this issue occurred was he was going to his mom's house and he forgets something and runs back into the house to grab it, and he left his keys in his door and his bag right there. He's in the house for 20 seconds. He comes back and his suitcase is gone and his keys have been pulled out of his.
And they were taken, I think, by the person complaining about the non-existent music.
Right.
From there was no music coming from his apartment the prior night.
Well, you don't know who took them. They're just gone.
I think it was him.
Probably, but the point is they're gone and he has no way to get back into the building.
Right. So he puts a phone book on the lobby door leading outside, sprints across the street, and he tries to buy the water, and he's like digging his pocket for like change.
Well, he goes to give him the credit card, and the credit card's declined. He's like, no, run it again. He's like, it's declined. He's like, you already started drinking it.
He's already drank the water, and meanwhile, he's looking across the street, and one homeless vagrant spots the crack, and then another, and then they start following. He's like, no, oh no!
Every single piece of human refuse.
Yeah.
Is now, it's literally like when Disneyland first opens, of just bums and crazy people and tweakers, and they're all filing in the freaking building.
So the door shuts behind them, so he can't even get in his own apartment building.
He pays the guy, runs, books it, and gets to the door right as the guy pulls the book out, and he can't get in the apartment building.
Did you notice the one vagrant who's like walking backwards? He's the only one like walking backwards. Everyone's filing, up the stairs.
I remember
like
that.
Walking backwards, looking at Beau. Beau climbs the side scaffolding because his apartment is the only door that's open.
Yeah.
So everyone just naturally goes in there, and they're having a fucking. I think they're wiping shit on the walls.
Yep.
Like there's someone, they're 69ing each other on his couch.
Yeah.
It's hell. And Beau is outside
watching his apartment get defiled.
He falls asleep and wakes up to like wood shavings. I guess construction has continued.
He's like drilling something.
No one gives a shit. There's a man right there, but who cares? Yeah. And it's amazing. Oh, and there's a naked killer on the loose.
Oh yeah, he's butt naked, running around. Hanging everywhere.
There's so much, dude. There's so much, and they established early on there's a brown recluse spider loose in the building somewhere.
Yeah, the whole place is infested with brown recluse spiders, basically. Yeah.
So, Beau, he finally gets his apartment. His mother doesn't believe him.
Yeah, his mom doesn't believe him.
He tells his mom what happened. She doesn't believe him. So he's distraught. He draws a bath and sits in the bath, and you notice little drops of water falling.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
What the fuck? Like, yeah.
And then he looks, and there's a motherfucker. One of the vagrants is like Mission Impossible style, like bracing himself against the wall in the ceiling. I guess he was caught like when Beau walked in and was trying out. And that's the sweat. He's sweating. So it's a long standoff where Beau is slowly trying to get out the tub while this guy is like desperately trying not to fall on him. And then the brown recluse spider crawls around the guy's face.
He's like, ah!
It falls. And they tussle in the water. Beau runs out the tub, butt-ass naked, runs into the street. The killer, the naked killer guy, they come face to face. He's nude and naked and screaming. Beau's screaming. Beau runs and then gets hit by the truck.
No, but that's not what happens yet. He runs away and he runs up to a cop. He's like, help me, me. And the cop pulls out his gun, and he's like, don't move. He's like, I'm not moving. He's like, freeze.
Please don't make me do this.
He's like, don't make me do this. He's like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just standing here. He's like, God damn, I don't want to shoot you. He's like, don't shoot me, please. And then he turns around and runs away from the cop. And that's when he gets hit by the van, or does
he gets hit by the van, and then later you find out how that he got stabbed. Because what happens, he gets picked up by this couple, the couple driving the van,
right?
And they tell him that, and through a quick flashback, you see that the guy was stabbing him in his side, and Beau held up his hand to stop him.
He was like stabbing him in his hand,
and it's like bloody and visceral,
and fucking gnarly, dude. That shit was gnarly.
Yeah, all that shit's in the first 30 minutes,
and it's only downhill from there.
And yeah, I can't defend the film from that point. Like it just and then loses the plot, dude. Like there's meandering.
Yeah.
I mean,
like there was this neat little sequence in the middle where like it becomes like this sort of like paper like world that he lives in, and I thought it was kind of neat, and there was some cool animation in there, but it was just like it was out of nowhere. But by that point, it was like I was so done with the movie. I looked at my phone so many times, like just like, please God, how much longer is?
But did the first 30 minutes? Did you laugh?
Yeah. No,
okay.
There were parts where I was like, holy shit, this is fucking nuts. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't, but it never worked to the point where I was like invested. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
the steam runs out. Like, you know what I mean? Like you build so much energy and then it dissipates.
Yeah.
And it just becomes weird. Like
like the daughter making him smoke, and then for some reason she drinks the fucking paint and dies, and it's just like, and this is the whole thing. The thing that sets everything in motion, right, is he tries to call his mom back before he gets in the shower, I'm pretty sure. And some guy picks up and he's like, who's this? He's like,
that was funny too. That was in the first 30 minutes.
He's like, I'm looking for my mom. He's like, is your mom so-and-so or blah, blah. He's like, well, he's like, I'm just a UPS guy. There's some lady here with her head and neck are missing. He's like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, yeah, chandelier fell and smashed her head. He's like, what? And he's like, I must not be calling the right number. And he's like, yeah, probably not. Just call back. And he calls back and he's like, I'm sorry, man.
I'm so sorry, dude.
I was just saying, he's like, what? What do you mean my mom's head got smashed by a chandelier? Like, it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, that moment happens before most of the shit we just described.
Yeah.
There was so much that went on that first 30 minutes. It's hard to keep track. But yeah, after he's hit by the car, he wakes up in this... Nathan Lane is this weirdo doctor, claims to be a doctor, and his wife. By no means am I saying it's like Big Lebowski, because Big Lebowski was amazing. But Big Lebowski was a little surreal, but not in a off-putting way. You know what I mean? Like the artist chick who was on the thing, Julianne Moore, like eccentric characters. And I felt like this was trying to be that, but without the craft and the tightness and the meaningfulness.
Yeah.
Like those characters served a purpose and they were all connected in terms of the greater like story.
Well,
this is just like random people.
And that's the whole thing. This literally looks like someone, he had all these ideas for this movie and then just kept them all.
Yeah.
Didn't kill any of his babies, and by that, if you don't know what we mean he didn't make any hard choices to like make the movie work and cut things out.
Is it kill your babies or kill your darlings, or is it both?
It's either. Yeah, I think either is fine. Like,
darlings probably nicer than killing a baby.
That's the biggest thing. Is like
barbarian.
That's the thing when you're making movies, you got to make hard choices like. That you're like, fuck, I like that idea so much, but it just doesn't work. I gotta take it out. You know what I mean? And you do that in order to make your movie work this was literally that. This was just, it felt like a stream of consciousness that went nowhere.
He had such great success the last few films that this was his no one can tell me no film.
Well, it's like George Lucas, right? There's the reason episodes 1, 2, and 3 were dog shit were because he's George Lucas, and no one can anyone says no to him, he's like, yeah, I don't want to see him tomorrow.
So he escapes from that family's house. They basically hold him hostage somewhat.
And they have this crazy man who they're helping out, and they set him loose after the guy after him.
Apparently, he's a former army vet, maybe
with his dad, with their son.
If that's even true, then the mom sicks him on Beau. So
Beau runs off into the woods and finds a traveling theater company.
People that just live in the woods. They're off the grid, and they perform plays right before they move to a next spot.
It turns out their play is about him, the life he could have lived, and it was just utter nonsense.
Yeah, and that's a long sequence, dude.
It's so long.
That's like maybe 10 minutes, which doesn't sound that long, but in the film terms, that's a long break.
No, but it felt like 40 minutes.
None of it ultimately mattered.
None of it matters.
And that's the thing. And in real time, this doesn't matter. It's one of those films, this is a ridiculous scenario that won't pay off.
Yeah. There's no reason we need to be seeing this.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be one of those quirky movies. And even those quirky movies, those little parts, when done right, can have a beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
And it's like the Odyssey, right?
Sure.
Yeah, the Odyssey stars Odysseus. He's a guy who's trying to get home from a 10-year war, right? And as he travels, there's all kinds of crazy shit, mythological things, and right. And it takes him, I think it takes him 10 years to get home. Or
that's the whole, but
years.
That's what this is supposed to be like. But
what I'm saying, and maybe not the Odyssey exactly, but I've seen films like this where each little part has a purpose and a meaning, even if it doesn't affect the greater thing. Like the character is just a fly on the wall, and it's kind of sucked in. After Hours was like that for Scorsese. Griffin Dunn finds himself in these various scenarios, plots, you know what I mean, and ultimately he just wants to get the fuck out of there. That's the joke. Yeah. He doesn't give a shit about what's going on. He wants to get back to his fucking yuppie apartment. So, but with this, it didn't feel like things just happened and it drifted away. So he finds these people, they put on a play. Fat vet guy shows up because Beau has a tracker on him.
Right.
The family put a tracker on him and starts shooting people.
Yeah.
Beau
starts shooting everyone.
Runs
throwing
away
grenades and shit. Right?
Yeah, throwing grenades. He falls on his own gun, and you think he kills himself, but he shows up again later.
Yeah, shoots himself in the arm about 20 times.
Right. And then after that sequence, Beau just hitches a ride to his mom's house.
Just wanders out of the woods and finds a ride on the side of the road. Everything's fine.
Yeah, didn't that feel weird? Didn't that just feel convenient and easy after all that wasted time? Think of Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Right.
Like the Odyssey to get that bike. And that's actually a great example. Pee-wee found himself in little, he met people along the way, and with the waitress who wanted to go to Paris, to France, and he just it didn't feel like just shit thrown at a wall. It felt like it had meaning.
But you were learning about Pee-wee, and Pee-wee was learning about himself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like the convict. Remember the convict? And he had to dress like the convict's wife. And it can work, but this doesn't work. So
this does not work.
I did enjoy. So Parker Posey plays.
Oh, I enjoyed Parker Posey.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, I bet. Dude, I had to look up her age. I was like,
how old is she?
Damn, I'm getting feelings for this. She's like 51, 52.
She's right there.
She's a really good actress. I've always enjoyed her.
She's good in everything.
Everything she's done. But anyway, he meets a girl through a flashback. Beau meets a girl on a cruise ship, and it's probably
when they're like 9 or something.
9, they're 10, young, whatever.
10.
And they have a little mini sweet romance. She's the aggressor, of course, because Beau's like all timid, and it's his first kiss, and then her mom finds out, and she runs into his room when he's sleeping. I love you. Wait for me. And before she's dragged away, presumably off the ship. I don't know. Anyway, Parker Posey plays the girl grown up, and Beau finally gets to where the mom's funeral is, which is at her house, and he's missed it. Right. So there's no one there. And the body's there, no head.
Open casket, decapitated body in there. I'm like, of course they have an open casket. Of course they do, right? Yeah.
See, this is where the film picks up a little bit for me.
Just a bit,
because it's got purpose.
But at this point, I'm so done. I don't give a fuck. I just want it over. I'm like, it does pick up a little bit though.
So did you notice on the wall where all like the magazine covers Beau has been featured on for like Zoloft and all these drugs, which is when I began thinking, okay, this is already saying something about the state of parenting, or this type of parent that just flood their kid's system with all these drugs. They grow up fucked up and not able to deal with anything, but yet they blame the kid for being ungrateful. So, which is coming. You'll find out. Basically, you find out later that the mom...
You can do that in 99 minutes. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you can.
You can do that in 90 minutes.
You can do it in 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Yeah.
So anyway, Parker Posey's there. She shows up late too. They meet, and he's like, "Oh, you don't remember me? I waited." And she's flattered, so she's like, "Let's go upstairs and fuck." Essentially. Yeah. And
wait. Do you remember one of those when Nathan Lane, when they're in Nathan Lane's house, they're like, "Man, I checked your bandages. I got you all bandaged up, but my God, I got something else I'm a little worried about. Your testicles look mighty distended." Yeah. He has these giant fucking balls.
And did you notice when he was running out the bathroom?
Yeah.
You saw, because when I saw, I was like, why do you think he's got some big balls, dude? And then I think I know why, dude. Why the beginning sequence with him being born? Because that baby had giant balls. I mean, baby boy, the genitals are swollen anyway when you're born. But
are they?
Yeah. Yes. You didn't know that? You didn't?
I just remember little teeny stuff when they come out. I don't remember genitals being swollen. No, I don't.
Maybe Logan's, got a John Holmes down there. No, I'm pretty sure that this is what the doctor told us, or Robin told me the doctor said. But anyway, but his balls were like so big. They were like when he pulled the baby out, they gave him a slap. But the balls were like noticeable, even though the baby was facing us from the back.
Did they say that?
No, this showed it. Remember they pulled Beau out and gave him a big slap? Like
it was like a split second. Yeah.
But in that split second, I was like, Jesus, baby balls.
Oh, I didn't even notice them. It was so fast.
So I think that's why, because it ties into something coming up. But anyway, they're screwing, and I laughed my ass off. This is the second part I laughed my ass off. Beau gets his first sexual experience. She puts the condom on, and they're doing it. She's on top, and
oh God,
he's like,
well, you have to understand, he thinks he's going to die.
Yes,
when he ejaculates.
And Joaquin Phoenix plays this as the height of ecstasy and terror at the same time. He wants to stop, and then he climaxes, and she's like, "Whoa. You busted right through that bag, huh?"
Yeah.
I felt that. You know what I thought about? You've seen Scary Movie? Remember they had a parody of that? The Virgins?
I haven't seen Scary Movie in, I don't know if I've ever seen it all.
And the guy busts one, and it's like a hose of semen.
Oh my God.
And it plasters her against the wall. That's what I thought. But like, if that happens with Beau, I wouldn't hate the movie for that. But
funny.
He's like, "Oh my God, I live. I'm alive."
Exactly.
All these years, funny, and I've wasted it. I can live.
I know.
And he looks up. Before he says that, she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get mine now." And then she stops, and while he's doing his thing, he looks up, And
no, she goes and she comes. Like you hear her like, oh yeah, then she starts moaning and she climaxes, and then she's just like, you think she just like stopped, like, oh, you know what I mean?
And that's when his like soliloquy of his rant about how amazing, you know, all the years wasted. Oh my God, it's so amazing. He looks up and she's fucking dead.
She's fucking dead,
dead
dude.
and frozen. And like her O face.
Yeah. And he's like, ah! He pushes her onto the floor.
So
that shit was gnarly.
So did his semen kill her, Mike? Or is it just a random thing that happened?
No, it's just a random thing that happened.
She just died.
He came and she was fine. She wanted to come, and she came really hard and popped a blood vessel in her brain and died. She had an aneurysm.
Well, no,
you could see her eye is all red and like you know, like she popped a blood vessel in her eye, which shows that she probably popped other blood vessels like in her brain.
Well, and so, I only asked that because later we find out who his dad is. His dad.
This is anyway. Look. By this point,
I'll go with the aneurysm then. But later in hindsight,
let's keep going. Let's keep going, right. Troy.
And he finds out, and who steps in the midst of this crazy sexual horror is his mom. Mom is not dead.
Mom is actually alive.
She faked her death. She paid her housekeeper to take the fall, so to speak. No pun intended. Probably so she can escape debtors. Because Parker Posey was talking about her mom owes her money. I don't know.
Something like that. She said she was going to pay off her debts or for her so her family was free of debt and stuff like that. Yeah.
For the housekeeper or Parker Posey?
For the housekeeper,
yeah.
I think, yeah.
But Parker Posey mentions that she owes her money. So it was never quite clear to me, and I don't think you gave a shit to notice why the mother faked her death. But then they go on this whole long thing.
I think she faked her death. I think she faked her death just to fuck with Beau.
Was that
just
what?
To get
because
to get
she
Beau
didn't
to
believe
come. Yeah, she didn't believe that Beau had his keys stolen, and she wanted him to come home, and so she faked her death because she's super rich, right, and she can do whatever the fuck she wants. And she wanted him to come home and be like groveling and sad, and basically she was a fucking bitch.
Yeah, she's a horrible human being.
Horrible human being.
So that's the big revelation. He demands to know what happened to his dad. So she's like, well, you want to know? I'll show you. Because through a flashback, you see that he has a brother, and the brother was led up to the attic. He never saw him again, I guess.
Yeah. And he thinks it's just a dream, and like he was seeing himself go up to the attic. He didn't really know what it was.
Right. But it wasn't a dream. She did lock his brother in the attic, so she forces him to go up to the attic. You want to see your dad? He's up there, or something like that. And
he doesn't want to go, but then she pushes him, and he goes up.
And the brother's like chained up and, emaciated. And I guess it's his twin because it looks just like Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, it's his twin. And
then you pan over Mike and, you hear
you hear.
I want you to describe this, Mike.
Beau? Is that you, Beau? Or something like that. I can't remember. He says something to get his attention. He's like, what? He's like, it's me, your dad. And he's like, what? And he looks over, he puts a flashlight over to him, and it's a praying man dick. I swear to God. It's literally a gigantic cock and balls man with praying mantis arms.
Little teeth, a little like
little teeth at where the head and the shaft connect. You know what I mean?
Right,
little eyes right there. Literally a giant cock and balls man. Cock and balls praying mantis. He's a praying man dick. That's what I decided I would call. He's a praying man.
Were the balls hairy? I can't remember.
I don't. It was so dark. I wasn't looking I didn't, that closely at the balls to see if there was hair.
Mike, as we're describing this, I can imagine a listener saying, I want in on this. This sounds like a fucking party. You get enough weed.
Okay, well, guess what?
You smoke drink the right thing.
I will tell you this. If you have no fear of having a bad acid trip or a bad shrooms trip or any kind of bad trip, because time is so fucked up when you're on those drugs and you really don't have any concept of time, this might be something to throw on and watch. But you're liable to go to the depths of hell.
If you want to simulate an acid trip without even taking the acid, if you want that experience, watching this movie might be close to that because it's just so real. I'm not talking about enjoyment. It's not necessarily a pleasurable experience. It's just, what the fuck am I looking at, man?
I mean, kind of.
Holy shit.
I guess you could say that.
So,
I won't argue with that point.
And then at that point, the guy, remember the guy that the doctor and the wife sends, the vet, shows up out of nowhere, bursts through the window, starts shooting the
cock man.
Praying man dick, as you called it, and
praying man dick.
And the praying man dick like takes one of his
praying mantis arms
and like spikes him in the head and kills him.
Yeah.
And Beau tumbles out.
You fucking Starship Troopers, that fucking.
And then he's like, "Mom, I'm so sorry. I wish I never knew." Whatever. He's kissing her feet. And then she says some more mean things, and he snaps and chokes her. And then I think she has a heart attack and falls through the glass. And
then he runs off down to the lake.
Gets
hops
in
a boat. And you described this part, Troy.
I thought it was because I don't know if you noticed, the cave almost looks vaginal. I thought it was like, because it opens with him being born and going through that orifice, and now he's going into the dark orifice.
By this point, I was 100% checked out. So I was just like, what the fuck?
So yeah, the boat floats, and he goes through the cave, and suddenly he's in the middle of like a
tribunal,
like Thunderdome, like a stadium where he's
like
the boat's in the middle.
It's like the Senate, the Galactic Senate chamber or the room at the kind. You know what it reminded me of? A really big version of the room in Batman Returns, where the blonde lady with the dog is like doing the monotone. 15 seconds until the rockets launch.
The penguin's lair.
Yeah, the penguin's lair.
It
reminded me of that, kind of.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. The mom is on one side, like in the VIP box. She's the
part of the prosecution.
And then there's some lone dude defense who's defending Beau.
You don't see his face.
You don't see his face. You can barely hear him. I think did he even have a microphone, or did he have to yell?
No, he was just yelling. Yeah, he didn't have a microphone or anything.
And then they're basically admonishing Beau about, his life. You ever seen Defending Your Life with Albert Brooks?
Love that movie.
Fantastic
I used
movie.
to watch that movie every single time it was on HBO when I was a kid. Every time.
In a weird way, reminded me of that.
Bite it. Bite the pasta. Bite it.
They showed like little clips of things that Beau did. Like when he was a child, he let his friends smell his mom's panties.
Yeah.
And shit like that. And mind you, this is the end of the movie pretty much. And the lawyer, his lawyer's like, I object. And at some point, someone kicks him to the water, so he doesn't have defense.
And he doesn't get kicked into the water. There's like a giant, craggly, spiky rock right underneath, and he gets impaled on the fucking rock. Blood flies, and it's like just like the rest of the movie, visceral and crazy and bloody and weird.
And Beau's boat motor has stopped, or it's like sputtering.
And it's like sputtering, and it's like going into overdrive and sparking and shit.
So he's in danger of drowning.
He basically says you're guilty or something,
and the boat flips, or does something come out of a?
I feel
he can't move. He can't move his legs. He's like,
he can't move his legs,
and the boat somehow flips over.
But doesn't just flip, like explode flips.
Something.
There was like an explosive thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there was like an explosion. I thought
he's still attached, because you could hear her. And the boat's kind of rocking.
Oh, I didn't even hear that by that point.
He's drowning because his legs are stuck to the boat.
Yep.
And then it just stops.
And during the credits, the camera doesn't move, do anything. You just see the boat upside down. Literally to the moment the last credit is rolled, the boat is just sitting there, and you slowly see all the people in this big chamber, just filing out slowly and orderly. What a fucking waste of time,
which was a nice touch, by the way. I didn't mind that. I like that visual.
By that point, I didn't give a fuck about it. I was just done, dude.
Do you think Beau died at Point of Impact. Maybe he died.
The van.
With the van, and this is all like a fevered dream of a dying man. I don't know. That's just me trying to find purpose.
To tell you the truth,
I don't
the
even
shit
think it
before
is.
that was pretty surreal too. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing was surreal. Like at the very beginning, he's walking back from the psychiatrist office. And you see all these weird people on this bridge that he's walking over. Like literally like a kid, like a 12-year-old, like holding an AK-47, just like looking at it. Then his mom comes up and like yells at him, and it was like, then another kid is like, or I don't know if that's not, the mom comes up and yells at this other kid who's like has this little boat, and he's just like running it on this water. She comes up and like screams at him for fucking for playing with the boat. Meanwhile, this other kid around the same age is like playing with an AK-47. I mean, it's just you know, and look, you could dig into this movie. I'm pretty sure every single scene has some sort of deeper meaning. I'm sorry that the whole point of cinema is to be entertaining and to make you want to think about the meaning of something, right? It's not enough to just put stuff up on the screen and be like, you have to decide what this means. Well, you have to make me want to figure out what it means, because I'm not against movies with deeper meanings. I'm not against movies that are a little bit surrealistic, as long as there's something there. You know what I mean? There's some sort of plot. There's some sort of story that is actually cohesive through the entire thing. If you're just going to throw a bunch of shit at me and none of it makes any sense,
well, you know, and
I'm not going to bother, because I don't give a shit by that point.
And I'm not shitting on people that love it. You know, everyone likes what they like. But I do feel there's some people... I am shitting on people who love this movie. I do feel there's some people that like the sound of their own voice and like being in the know. Like,
absolutely.
Get it, finger quotes. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I've known some people like that in my life.
Yeah, film school crowd, like the artistic film school crowd. Like they like stuff just because other people don't.
Yeah, anything that's commercial is beneath them. Come on, 8-year-old you would have loved that same fucking movie.
Yep.
You just grew up snapping your fingers with the right crowd, and now you're like you're fucking beatniks with your, you know, neckerchiefs and your berets and your stripy shirts, and you're an auteur now. Your stripy shirts. I can acknowledge this movie has some really funny parts, but I also can acknowledge this movie is too fucking long, too unfocused. I can only recommend 30 minutes of it, and the rest of it's like, if I never see it again, I'll be fine. You know what I mean? Except for Parker Posey's part. That may warrant another viewing. Just saying. She got back, man. You notice? Like, she got a little hump back there, dude. Parker
Posey's
54.
Yeah, she definitely she brought it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, look, like I said, this was kind of the perfect
especially
film.
When she said, "Oh, you busted that bag wide open."
Busted that bag wide right through that bag.
Like, whoa, hello, lady, don't do that.
I felt that. Yeah.
It's really a shame, because I kind of like Beau. I could like him from what I got to see of him before it just became surrealistic, you know, fucking scattershot, whatever. Like a more structured movie with him at the center maybe would have been nice. Like if he had just went like that opening sequence, he wakes up and he's got to deal, because apparently the whole family or people around her think he's just a fucking worthless, useless vampire, right?
Right.
So seeing this man actually find himself and break the shackles of his fucking mother, and with Joaquin Phoenix playing that part.
Yeah, but also to see him showing up, what if he showed up to the funeral and had the interactions with the family would have been so much more compelling.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, yeah, that's a different movie. But that would have been such a better movie, I feel like.
Yeah. You would have, and you could have still made it weird and surreal, but all of a sudden now he's having connections with people that matter in his life, not random strangers.
You know Wes Anderson, who I'm not like a huge fan of. Like, he's okay. He rides that rail of auteur, surreal, but still
I don't like most of his movies,
kind of gives
to tell
you
the
a
truth.
plot. But I could see this being a really good Wes Anderson style movie, like at least from the parts that we're talking about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it's weird, but it's grounded. But you know,
I don't
bizarre.
think we would have ever gotten a praying man dick in a Wes Anderson.
I don't think you need a praying man dick. I can't believe I'm saying that. Because am I happy that I saw a praying man dick? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I
never seen that shit before.
I was like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
and
why
that's a reaction.
Why did it have the praying mantis arms? Like, what the fuck was the point of that?"
And that's
like,
the thing. Even a bad movie, if it does something shocking that you've never seen before, that's a good thing these days.
It's
like,
pretty fucking funny.
It's
dude.
hard to shock two old fucks like us. I'm even older.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a good movie, but it does have its thrills and moments. But once that moment's over, you're like, what the fuck? Because then a scene starts with like normal people acting. It's like, there's a giant cock and balls upstairs. We're not going to talk about that anymore.
Yeah,
What? His brother has been chained up there like for what? For 40 years? I mean, like, okay.
Jesus.
Anyway, let's rate it. You want to rate it?
I'm gonna rate it.
All right.
I'm gonna give it
your lowest rating ever.
This is easily the lowest rating ever. I'm gonna give it. What's the lowest rating? We can't give it 0, right? I'm gonna give it 0.
You give it 0.
No, I don't think it's 0. I don't think you can give it a 0.
Why
0
can't
stars.
Buck the system, Mike. Break the rules.
I'm gonna for
take the top off the car and throw your hair back.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do is there were a couple moments in it that I was like interested in it. There was some funny stuff at the beginning. Some praying man dick cracked me the fuck up, and like the way he like stabs the fucking guy in the head, like it looks straight out of fucking Starship Troopers.
How did she? I know
get him up there. Yeah, how did she have sex with him? Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, can you? I don't want to.
Google it.
Praying man dick.
Yeah, hentai porn.
So
0.5. I got to do it. Praying man dicks. 0.5 out of 5 praying man dicks.
So it gets half a star.
Half a star. Half a praying man dick out of 5. Just the balls. No shaft.
I'm gonna give it a little higher than that because I really did enjoy that first 30 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
And the sex sequence, not just because she was nude and looked awesome, but it was funny and bizarre. And the praying man dick. Never seen
praying
one.
Man dick.
I'm gonna give it 2 distended Joaquin Phoenix balls out of 5. We'll stay with the ball motif.
2, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you giving it a 2? That's pretty high. That's pretty high.
I mean, it's not a 3.
I don't know, man.
I really laughed. I laughed out loud for the first 30 minutes. Because I guarantee that 30 minutes, I probably laughed more than I laughed at a 90-minute comedy.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
So if you would like to support this show, keep us going, keep us rolling along, uploading content, you can support us by going to patreon.com/baldguysbadmovies and donate to the show. We're going to use those funds to make sure we can see any movies that you guys want to see and getting our studio set up so we can start recording video and doing these not just audio but also video on YouTube. And once a month, we will pick a patron to choose a movie for us to review. And we'll review it. We'll dedicate it to you. But either way, we just hope you enjoy the show and keep on coming back. I was like, yeah, I'll pay $6 to watch this. What do I care? You know what I mean?
Wait, what did Drea, another fine man?
Oh, she was like, I was like, this is fucking dog shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on. She's like, Troy's gonna love it. She thought you were gonna like it. I was like, maybe, but I don't think so, man. I told her, I was like, she didn't watch it with me.
Does she think I have bad taste in movies?
Yeah.